One of the most important things in a successful garden is having great soil. But how do you know if your soil's good, average, or even poor? What type of soil do you have? Today, I'm going to show you how you can test your soil with this kit, and it's so easy and inexpensive, and it gives you a great report. As you can see in the background, my fall garden is actually doing very well, but my spring garden hasn't even started yet. So one of the things that's most important for spring gardening is that you have good soil. So a lot of us amend the soil, and I'll put a link in the description box below on how I amend my soil, give you some good ideas and some good simple ways of doing that. But how do you know what you're going to be starting with in your garden? So maybe you have a new plot, or maybe you're starting from scratch, or maybe it's a garden that's been going and growing for years, but you've never got your soil tested. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how I test my soil. I found this great kit, and I'm going to put a link in the description below. This kit was very inexpensive, and it's so easy. So I'm going to show you how to do that and why it's important to test your soil, because you need to know what's in your soil. Think of the soil as the food that we eat. So if we are eating good food, good nutritious food, we know that we're getting the vitamins and the minerals that we should be getting in our body, and our bodies are going to be healthy. Well, the same thing is true for our soil, and the soil is the food, if you will, for our plants that we're planting in the spring or even in the fall. So when you have poor soil conditions, whether that's an acidic soil or alkalinic soil, or if you don't have enough nutrients in the soil, your vegetables, your plants will not thrive. You can continue to put a lot of different fertilizers on top, purchase those, but if you start with good soil, that's going to help give your plants a great start, and throughout the growing season, they're going to grow up strong and vibrant. So you'll have very good fruits, and we'll see over the course of the next year how things grow. But I would really highly recommend that you look at getting your soil tested. That's how you're going to know exactly what you need to put into your garden. So you don't want to be putting in too much of one of these nutrients, because if you have too much of it, it will depend on how your plants will grow. So for example, you might have too much nitrogen. Nitrogen is great for a lot of our, and it's essential for our plants to grow. However, if you have too much nitrogen in, say, for example, a tomato plant or a pepper plant, it's going to grow very large. It's going to grow big leaves, but it's not going to fruit. You have to have other nutrients. Same goes for if something's acidic or alkalinic. So you need to test your soil. Different parts of the country have different soil types. We're going to go over some real simple things on how you can also just kind of get an idea of what type of soil you have. You can have clay, sandy, loamy, and we're shooting for a loamy, which is a soft, fluffy type soil. But first, we need to do our soil test. So let's get to that, and I'll show you how we do that. So when we take our soil testing kit out of the box, this is exactly how it comes. You're going to get some really simple things. You're going to get a soil testing bag, and we'll go over that in just a second. It comes with these I'm capturing carbon with soil kit, cute little feet, and it comes with a paid envelope to send your soil back. And of course, with this kit, it comes with your instructions. Very, very simple on how to work it. So when you test your soil, there's essentially three things that you're going to do with this kit. First is you're going to go online and you're going to register your kit that gives you a specific number. And then you're going to collect your soil. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. And then you put it in this prepaid envelope and ship it out. And about a week to 10 days, you're going to get the results of your soil test. I'm going to show you the results of my soil that we tested today. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is you're going to test your soil by going about maybe 4 inches deep. Now, what I always do first is you're going to just move some of this. This is just leaves and my compost and my mulch that I put on. So I'm just removing that. Okay, so that exposes the dirt or the soil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about maybe 5 to 6 samples in different parts of my garden so that I get a good sample. Okay, so what I'm going to just do is I'm going to take this first tiny bit layer off, and then I'm going to go down and I'm just going to collect a little bit of soil. Okay, I'm going to put this into a clean pot or a clean bucket, and the same thing here. Just a little, take off the first maybe 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to dig down about 4 inches down, and I'm going to put that into my bucket. I'm going to go into different spots here. So now, as you can see, I have a nice little sampling throughout my garden here of my soil. So I'm going to just mix this gently, and then we're going to take this and we're going to put that whole thing into my sample bag. You're going to place the bag inside this prepaid envelope, seal it, ship it out. I'll put my affiliate link on how you can get your own soil test kit delivered straight to your house for free. And all you're going to pay for is the test kit itself. And again, there's no postage when you send your kit out to get the soil tested. So that's a great deal. So in a few short weeks, you'll get an email confirmation and you'll get your results of your test. So in this particular test here, I am getting the results of the community garden, which was 2 foot by 20 feet, if you recall. And I'll put a link below on that actual video on how I refurbished that bed. But before I did anything on the bed, I tested the soil. And this is the results of the soil test. So it's going to tell us exactly what we need to put in to our bed. Specifically here, in this case, it looks like I'm going to have to put 0.66 pounds of the Stay Green blood meal, and that's going to be your, so remember NPK, that's these 3 numbers here. N is nitrogen, so that's going to provide the amount of nitrogen that I need for my soil. My soil, as we'll see here below, was very alkaline, so we're going to add some soil acidifier to that to balance the pH. The great thing about this report is, number one, it's going to tell me first what my soil pH is. So we talked about that a little bit, about the pH, and you can see mine is very alkaline. But if you click on this little question mark here, it actually tells you what each of these little things tell you. So, you know, what is the organic matter in there? So organic matter is the organic component in the soil and what it consists of. So it's really cool little report, okay? And it'll tell you, so our N is the nitrogen, our P is the potassium, and that's the, it's the phosphorus, sorry, that's very high. And then the potassium here, the K, is also very high. So that's your NPK. So I'm not going to have to add any fertilizer to this soil at all, because I have very high levels of my NP and K, plus all of these other micronutrients, calcium and the zinc and copper and all that. Everything is pretty high, so we don't have to worry about adding any of my fertilizers. So that's going to save me some money. The only thing I'm going to have to add is, as it mentioned up here, is a little bit of that bone meal, and that bone meal is going to help with the nitrogen and the soil acidifier that's going to bring that pH down. And then it gives us a little graft, which is really cool. So this is the results of my test here, and hopefully that will be something that will help you in the future by testing your soil and getting the right levels that you will need in your garden to have a beautiful garden in 2023. So if you found information in this video helpful, click that like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'd like to know how you're testing your soil in your community, and if you're testing your soil using your local extension or if you're using a kit like I have today. Until next time, happy gardening.